Hi, everyone.
How's everybody doing? It's always so pretty, Vicky, in your background.
Oh, yes, because it's finally nice and I try to do it outside. So I'm now, because my nephews are outside, I'm in the backyard hiding under this little deck. So they're in the front. We compromised.
Hi there, Diane. How are you doing?
Oh, it's okay.
Have things calmed down a bit now this evening?
Well, I had just mentioned to my husband that it seemed calm, and then we started hearing sirens and police cars going by. So I haven't looked at the news lately. I'm exhausted by it. My immediate neighborhood seems calm.
Yeah.
But the pages in the Star and Tribune of Minneapolis paper of what happened last night, I just can't believe it. It looks like a war.
I agree. It's pretty, I was shocked when I saw it myself.
Very sad.
Indeed. Okay, so I thought we could use the first class today for me to help anyone out with any language questions that they might have had that came up during the homework. So I forget who agreed to teach. Yes, here we go. So Claire was going to do the opening meditation, Vicky the warm-up, some sun salutations, Joanna some standing, and then Catherine seated, and Juliana the cool down.
I have a question.
Tell me.
How would I say, I mean, let's see if I said this, if I said this right. So I want to say interlace your fingers in Kali Mudra. Entrelazamos nuestros dedos.
And Kali Mudra.
Just that?
Yeah. I mean, a mudra is una mudra, and then they would use the same word, so en Kali Mudra.
Okay.
All right. Does anybody else? Hey, today you're Liliana Dares.
I have a question, if we have time. I want to be, we're going to be on all fours. And I was trying to do my best. Everyone will know now. I'm going to do thread the needle. So I was trying to, let's see, how did I say it? I'll do what? Colocamos la mano izquierda en el medio de la colchoneta. Giramos el torso hacia derecha, levantamos el brazo derecho hacia el cielo. Or is that too many? That seems like too many words.
I wouldn't. I think that's fine. But en el medio de la colchoneta, en el centro de la colchoneta would be better.
Okay.
So colocamos la mano derecha en el centro de la colchoneta. Where do you go from there?
Giramos el torso hacia derecha y levantamos el brazo hacia el cielo.
Giramos el torso hacia la derecha. It has to be, if it's a direction, it's always derecha o izquierda.
Okay.
Yeah. So giramos el torso hacia la derecha y extendemos el brazo hacia el cielo, for example.
Okay. Gracias.
Con mucho gusto. Does anybody else have any language questions? Yeah, go ahead.
I have one more. Back edge of your foot. El borde.
Yeah, so the edge is el borde, and then back is posterior. Sorry, Joanna, I didn't catch any.
Okay, well, say that again.
Yeah, so el borde posterior.
Can you repeat that?
El borde posterior.
Okay.
Okay.
Del pie.
Del pie.
Can I ask a question? I had a hard time figuring out how to get from Ardha Uttanasana to Chaturanga, and I just feel like it doesn't flow. So I have for Ardha Uttanasana, this is in Surya Namaskara B. Inhalamos, alargamos la columna, miramos hacia adelante. Now I want to get into chaturanga. So I don't know how to do that. I have colocamos las palmas en la tierra, damos un paso hacia atrás a la plancha, exhalamos. Flexionamos los codos, bajamos pecho y mentón. Do you
So,
feel like you understand what I want you to do?
so a quick piece of advice. You need to be careful in yoga to guide chaturanga safely and distinguish chaturanga from knees, chest, chin, or any other posture. So with chaturanga, we're not lowering the chin to the floor, yeah? In fact, the chest and the chin should not go any lower than the elbows, if that makes sense. So I think my main piece of advice...
Yeah, I don't know how.
Sorry?
I'm losing you, Andrew.
Yeah.
I can't hear you.
Man, I don't know
Andrew's
what's wrong with my internet this evening. This is very frustrating. Yeah, so to clarify, chaturanga is a posture where the chest and the chin go no lower than the elbows, right? So you need to be a little bit careful about how you cue it. Does that make sense?
Forget how to cue it. So
Hi, sorry, I think my
So I
internet's
have-
cutting in and out. I'm just going to quickly sign out and sign back in again and see if I can improve my connection. Hi there. Does that seem to be working a little bit better?
yeah, I just lost everybody else though.
Yeah, I don't know if this is a Zoom problem or if this is an internet problem, but anyhow, we're back again. So let me just demonstrate quickly to you how I normally do chaturanga. So when I'm in plank pose, there are two movements in chaturanga that are important, right? The first movement is a forward movement onto the tiptoes. There's a gentle lifting of the shoulders and engagement of the pelvis. And then this is chaturanga. We never come any lower than the elbows before we move to upward facing dog. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know how to do a chaturanga. I just don't know how to cue a chaturanga. So I would like to just forget it and just do something
I think
easier.
the important thing is you're guiding sun salutations, right?
Yeah.
And the important thing with sun salutations is keeping people moving at a nice rapid pace, yeah? So generally speaking, I wouldn't get technical ever in any part of the sun salutation unless I decided to really break it down and go through kind of each piece, you know, part by part. And that would especially be appropriate for beginners class. So generally speaking, if I were to cue people into chaturanga, I would say, if necessary, bajamos las manos al suelo, or aplanamos las manos en la colchoneta, damos un paso hacia atrás, y bajamos a chaturanga, and just leave it at that, you know, just leave it really nice and simple.
All right, I'll get rid of all this other stuff.
Of course, the other way is to take an extra breath there. So what you could do if you're moving a little bit more slowly through your sun salutations is bajamos las manos al suelo y damos un paso atrás a la plancha y inhalamos aquí. Exhalamos y bajamos el pecho a chaturanga. And that gives you an extra breath to work with. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I just erased what I had.
Oh, that's
I
fine.
think I
Everyone's
just want to do the most simple. I'm going to just do the most simple one because everybody knows how to do chaturanga, but I like what you just said.
Actually, most students struggle with chaturanga to get the alignment right, but I mean, that's a whole other topic.
I
Chaturanga
meant,
is actually one of the more challenging postures to teach, I think, as a teacher, to get your students doing it safely and well.
oh, I meant everybody in our group. I
Oh.
didn't mean like general population. I mean, these teachers that in our class.
Hi,
So-
welcome. Catherine, how are you doing?
I'm sorry to be a little late.
No problem. So does anybody else have any other language questions that they'd like to ask before we get going today? And we've got plenty of time, so by all means ask away. Anything that you feel curious about. Juliana.
So at the end of my classes, I usually like to, like when we're closing out class, I like to have people in a cross-like position with their eyes closed. And after we do a little chant, I like to tell people to place their hands on their arms, and then I walk them down through their whole body, kind of. How would I say that in Spanish?
So what would you say in English? What would your first cue be?
I would say remain your eyes closed here and place your hands on your opposite shoulders.
Okay, so pause. And so how can you say, let's keep the eyes closed?
Dejamos los ojos cerrados.
Yeah,
Aquí.
dejamos or mantenemos. Either one would do fine. Dejamos los ojos cerrados, mantenemos los ojos cerrados. Okay. And then place. What's the verb for place?
Hacia.
We need
Sorry.
a verb for place. Begins with C.
I'm sorry, I don't know where you went on my, there you are.
Okay.
What was your question again?
A verb for to place. What
To
is the
place.
verb for to place?
Empezamos, dejamos. I can't think right now, being put on the spot.
Can you help out? What's the verb for to place? Yeah.
Colocar.
Colocar. Yeah. So colocamos las manos, and then you would want to say on opposite shoulders, en hombros opuestos. Yeah. O colocamos cada mano en el hombro opuesto would be a nice way of saying that. So place each hand on the opposite shoulder. Colocamos cada mano en el hombro opuesto.
Opuesto.
Opuesto with a T. Yeah.
Okay. I'm not going to use it for this class, but
Right.
for the future.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And then where do you go from there? Bajamos las manos a los codos. Yeah.
Bring your arms down. Oh, bring your arms to your chest, your stomach, your hips, your thighs.
Las manos al pecho, a las caderas, a las rodillas, etc., etc.
Well, maybe I'll add it in. We'll go with it.
Sounds like you've got it. Okay. Good. Any other language questions that people would like to ask?
Vicky or Diane, did we ask about enderecemos yet?
What's that now?
We did, I didn't. He didn't.
It's okay. In our session the other day with Val, she was helping us understand the difference between enderecemos and estiramos, I think. And so I think we were using enderecemos for straighten, like all the time.
Okay.
Straighten your leg, straighten that.
Yeah.
Describing a nuance like straightening from, should we be thinking like that?
So, yeah, I
Could you
mean,
explain more?
if you're stretching something out in front of you, right, then it's better to use the verb estiramos. Enderezamos is for something that is maybe in a sort of a bent position and it needs to be straightened. So above all, enderezamos is something we would use for the spine, yeah? But honestly, I mean, there's no like hard and fast rules with that. And I mean, if your knees are bent, enderezamos las rodillas is totally appropriate as well. But for example, if I'm sitting in a cross-legged position and I want to stretch my legs out in front of me, it's better to use estiramos las piernas hacia adelante rather than say enderezamos las piernas. Does that make sense?
Okay. So I think we were trying to do it from, what was I doing it from, like a crescent lunge to triangle?
Okay.
So I think I tried to say straighten the front leg. So in that case, it was bent already.
Mm-hmm.
I could use either one?
I think so. Yeah, honestly, I wouldn't see a problem with using enderezamos at that point.
Okay.
I think one thing is that everybody has their own like personal preferences, right? So sometimes like one teacher can say one thing and then another teacher will tell you something totally different. But yeah, honestly, I think that would be fine.
Okay, great.
I use enderezamos. Now I'm having a confusion. Is it enderezamos or enderecemos?
So it's enderezamos if it's the regular indicative.
Yeah. So I have.
I don't know if that exists.
It's in the regular verb, enderezamos. That's what.
Enderezar.
So I'm enderezar. I'm using that to go from Utkatasana to Samastiti.
So straighten the legs, enderezamos las piernas.
Yes.
Yeah, fine. Mm-hmm.
Okay. This is going to have mistakes right now. It will.
There's a lot of feedback. I wonder if we could just keep our microphones on mute and just when you want to speak, let's unmute our microphones, because otherwise it gets really, really challenging to hear. So sorry, Diane, you were going to finish asking your question?
I just said that I will have a lot of mistakes in my...
Oh, that's not a problem. Thanks, Diane. Joanna, what was it you wanted to ask?
Yeah, just with the Sanskrit, not the Sanskrit name, but for this pose, I have standing half moon side bend. When I tried to translate that in Spanish, it just makes absolute doesn't make sense to me. So how would I say that? Because I wrote de pie imitar curva lateral postura. Like, I can't say that. No. Right?
Tell me what that posture looks like.
So it comes from the Bikram lineage. So it's like the Ardha Chandrasana, but standing.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would just call that una flexión lateral. And if you want to say una flexión lateral de pie. But I mean, there is actually a Sanskrit name for that. Do you know what the Sanskrit name for that is?
Yeah, it's Urdhva Hastasana Ardha Chandrasana.
I'm sure there is actually a different Sanskrit. 1 second. When we teach that here, we use a different name, which is considerably.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, just flexión lateral, I think would be fine.
Flexión lateral.
Yeah. So we call it Ardha Urdhva Hastasana.
Wait, what do you call it?
Parsva Urdhva Hastasana. So Parsva is side, Urdhva is and Hasta hand Hastasana pose. So it's like literally the side raised hand pose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect. Claire, did you have any questions for me today?
Yeah, I'm sure I'll appreciate the feedback. You know, when I was writing, I'm supposed to do meditation, and I don't know where to put in the happy words. I did a much better job, at least from the beginning of the week, of adding respiration or breathing. One of the things I think might come up, because I have children in mind as I'm writing, so I'm just adding animals all over the place, and I was like, okay, maybe let me take some of these animals out. But we have certain associations with animals in English, like the peacock is proud, and I don't know if that translates. I thought of birds as proud animals, so I don't know.
Why not? I mean, I think kids will believe anything if you tell them in the teacherly way, right? Peacocks are proud, right? Oh, yes. Good. All right. Awesome. So without further ado then, let's practice together. So make sure you've all got a comfortable space to practice in. I'm going to take some notes. And if there's time at the end, I'm going to give each of you a little bit of feedback. So Claire, you're starting today. Then Vicky, Diane, Joanna, Catherine, and finally Juliana.
Oh, okay, sorry. I was just saying I have a delivery on the way and I seriously hope it doesn't come in the next 10 minutes, but it might. So forget what I just said, let's meditate. Okay. Bienvenidos a todos. Empezamos sentados al frente de la colchoneta. Cruzamos las piernas y inhalamos. Paz. Alargamos la columna. Calma. Tomamos consciente del entorno, del espacio. Cerramos los ojos. Ponemos una mano sobre el estómago. Ponemos la otra mano sobre el pecho, encima del corazón. Inhalamos por la nariz. Sentimos el aire entrando y llenando el estómago. Exhalamos. Inhalamos abriendo el pecho. Juntamos los labios y exhalamos por la nariz. Inhalamos pavo real, orgulloso. Exhalamos pensamientos negativos. Inhalamos pingüino. Exhalamos estrés. Continúan a su propio ritmo por 3 respiraciones. Inhalamos, exhalamos. Inhalamos, exhalamos. Subimos las manos y los brazos hacia el cielo. Torceamos los hombros a la izquierda y bajamos los brazos, colocando las manos a la afuera de la cadera derecha. Inhalamos, volvemos los brazos hacia arriba y hacia el centro. Exhalamos, torceamos los hombros a la derecha y bajamos los brazos colocando las manos a la afuera de la cadera izquierda. Inhalamos, volvemos los brazos hacia arriba y hacia el centro. Exhalamos, nos doblamos colocando las manos hacia adelante. Inhalamos y nos encontramos la postura de 4 apoyos. Mesa neutral. Exhalamos. Inhalamos mirando hacia arriba y arqueando la espalda, vaca. Exhalamos rodando la espalda y llevando la mirada hacia las manos, gato. Inhalamos mirando hacia arriba y arqueando la espalda, vaca. Exhalamos rodando la espalda y llevando la mirada hacia las manos, gato. Continúan a su propio ritmo por 3 respiraciones. Inhalamos, exhalamos. That's it. And now. Yeah, I don't know if you want the next person to just jump in or.
Ok, muchísimas gracias, Claire. Muy bien hecho, excelente. Vamos a seguir con Vicky.
Es un poquito repetición, pero movemos a 4 apoyo. Ponemos las manos debajo de los hombros y las rodillas debajo de las caderas. Alargamos la columna y abrazamos el abdomen. Inhalamos, exhalamos aquí. Vaca y gato. Inhalamos, vaca, proyectamos el pecho hacia el frente y miramos arriba. Exhalamos, gato, redondeamos la columna y miramos a un ombligo. Inhalamos, vaca. Exhalamos, gato. 2 veces más. Cuando inhalamos, abrimos la corazón. Exhalamos, metemos el coxis. 1 vez más. Inhalamos. Exhalamos. Y volvemos al centro. Mantenemos la columna neutral y abramos el abdomen. Inhalamos, elevamos el brazo derecho hacia adelante, altura de hombro. Exhalamos, sostenemos. Inhalamos, subimos la pierna izquierda hacia atrás, altura de la cadera. Exhalamos, sostenemos. Inhalamos. Y exhalamos, bajamos ambas, volvemos 4 apoyo. Repetimos con el otro lado. Elevamos el brazo izquierdo hacia adelante y subimos la pierna derecha hacia atrás. Inhalamos y exhalamos, bajamos ambas, volvemos. 2 veces más, por favor. Con la respira. Inhalamos, subimos, exhalamos, bajamos. Inhalamos, subimos, exhalamos, bajamos. Perfecto. 1 vez más. Sí, mantenemos el neutro columna. Y entonces volvemos a neutral. Colocamos la mano izquierda en el centro de la colchoneta. Inhalamos, giramos el torso hacia el derecho y levantamos el brazo derecho hacia el cielo. Miramos hacia la mano. Inhalamos. Y exhalamos, alcanzamos debajo del hombro. Giramos hacia izquierda. Gracias. Continuamos 2 veces más. Subimos el brazo, giramos. Exhalamos, alcanzamos debajo del hombro. 1 vez más. Subimos, sí, bueno. Exhalamos. Y entonces reposamos aquí con el hombro derecha, la oreja derecha en el suelo. Inhalamos y exhalamos. Inhalamos, presionamos la mano izquierda en el suelo. Y alcanzamos el brazo hacia el cielo. Volvemos al centro y repetimos con el otro lado. Colocamos la mano derecha en el centro de la colchoneta. Inhalamos, giramos el torso hacia izquierda y levantamos el brazo izquierda. Exhalamos, alcanzamos debajo del hombro, giramos y inhalamos, subimos. Excelente, exhalamos. Y 1 vez más, subimos hacia el cielo. Exhalamos, reposas aquí con el hombro izquierda, la oreja izquierda en el suelo. Inhalamos, presionamos la mano derecha en el suelo y subimos el brazo izquierdo hacia el cielo una vez más. Volvemos al centro. Aquí llevamos las caderas hacia arriba, hacia atrás, pero hacia abajo. Ok, la próxima persona.
Perfecto, muchísimas gracias, Vicky. Muy bien. Entonces seguimos con Diane. Diane, necesitamos poner tu micrófono.
Ok. Entonces, necesito mis papeles. Ok. Empezamos en el inicio de la colchoneta. Alargamos la columna. Enraizamos los pies en la tierra. Tadasana. Inhalamos. Levantamos los brazos. Subimos los brazos hacia el cielo. Miramos hacia las manos. Exhalamos, nos doblamos. Presionamos las palmas en la colchoneta. Right? En el suelo. Uttanasana. Inhalamos, alargamos la columna. Miramos hacia adelante. Ardha Uttanasana. Colocamos las palmas en la tierra. Damos un paso hacia atrás a la plancha. Exhalamos. Flexionamos los codos, bajamos pecho y mentón. I don't know. Inhalamos. Bajo la pelvis, apoyamos los empeines en la colchoneta. Rotamos los hombros hacia arriba. Exhalamos. Llevamos las caderas hacia arriba. Empujamos las palmas en la tierra. Okay, here's where I break down. I'm supposed to caminamos al frente de la colchoneta, but I don't have that there. Inhalamos, alargamos la columna, miramos hacia adelante. Inhalamos. Levantamos los brazos hacia el cielo. Miramos hacia las manos. Alargamos la columna. Enraizamos los pies en la tierra. Traemos las palmas al pecho. Samastitihi. Okay. Flexionamos las piernas profundamente, elevamos los brazos hacia el cielo, alargamos la columna, juntamos las palmas y miramos las manos. Utkatasana. Exhalamos, nos doblamos. Inhalamos, alargamos la columna, miramos hacia adelante. This is the part where I the whole thing. Colocamos las palmas en la tierra. Damos un paso hacia atrás a Chaturanga. Inhalamos, bajamos la pelvis. Apoyamos los empeines en la colchoneta. Rotamos los hombros hacia arriba. Exhalamos. Llevamos las caderas hacia arriba, empujando las palmas en la tierra. Damos un largo paso hacia adelante con el pie derecho. Flexionamos la pierna derecha. Llevamos los brazos hacia arriba. Exhalamos, bajamos las palmas en la tierra. Damos un paso hacia atrás a la plancha. Flexionamos los codos. Bajamos a chaturanga. Exhalamos. Apoyamos los empeines en la colchoneta. Rotamos los hombros hacia arriba. Inhalamos. I'm failing. I'm getting an F. Exhalamos, nos doblamos. I'm almost done because I don't know what I'm doing. Presionamos las palmas hacia el suelo. Uttanasana. Flexionamos las piernas profundamente. Elevamos los brazos hacia el cielo. Alargamos la columna. Juntamos las palmas y miramos las manos. Enderecemos las piernas. Traemos las palmas al pecho, samastitihi. Fin.
Toma una gran respiración. Just breathe deeply, Diane. You did really, really well. And I suspect if you put your notes down, you would have a much easier time. You know this. You've got this language. You've got that self-confidence. So, yeah, just take a deep breath. You did really, really well. Congratulations.
Great.
Oh.
You're saying nice things. I feel like I need to memorize this and not read it. You're right.
We'll have
okay. Oh no, we're not. I'm still.
Okay. So thank you so much, Joanna. Standing flow. I think you need to unmute your.
Vamos a calentarnos el cuerpo un poco. Vamos a empezar en el inicio del mat, de la colchoneta. Inhalamos y colocamos las manos en nuestras caderas. Alargamos la espalda. Exhalamos y doblamos hacia adelante. Agarramos nuestro dedo gordo con el pie. Padangustasana. Inhalamos y alargamos nuestra columna. Exhalamos y doblamos. Por 3 respiraciones profundas. Traemos los codos hacia adentro. Por 3. Relajamos el cuello por 2. Y observamos nuestra respiración por 1. Inhalamos profundamente. Y exhalamos profundamente. Inhalamos y alargamos la espalda. Levantamos los dedos de los pies y ponemos las manos hacia abajo de los pies. Pisamos nuestras manos y desplazamos nuestro peso hacia adelante. Padahastasana. Pie a mano postura. Esta vez sacamos nuestros codos hacia afuera y traemos las costillas hacia adentro por 2. Respiramos profundamente por 1. Centramos su atención en la postura. Inhalamos y exhalamos. Inhalamos. Despaciamente subimos vértebra por vértebra a Tadasana. Inhalamos. Alargamos y entrelazamos nuestros dedos para la postura de flexión lateral. Postura ¿cómo que se llama? Urva Hastasana, no. Parsva Urva Hastasana. Ok. Ponemos los dedos en Kali Mudra, que se parece como un sword. ¿Cómo se dice sword? ¿Cuchillo?
Una espada.
Una espada. Exhalamos y nos inclinamos hacia nuestro lado derecho. Llevamos nuestra cadera derecha hacia adelante y la cadera izquierda hacia atrás, y también con los hombros. Abrimos nuestro pecho, inhalamos y nos concentramos en la sensación del torso izquierdo. Exhalamos profundamente. Inhalamos una vez más y exhalamos, nos inclinamos más profundo. Inhalamos, subimos hacia arriba, nos subimos. Alargamos la espalda y exhalamos, nos inclinamos a la izquierda. Esta vez observa el ritmo de tu respiración. Exhala más profundamente en la flexión. Inhala y exhala. Inhalamos, subimos hacia arriba y bajamos los brazos. Tadasana. Inhalamos y nos rezamos sobre el pie izquierdo para la postura del árbol, Vrikshasana. Doblamos la pierna derecha y colocamos el talón en la entrepierna. Si no puedes hacer eso, entonces pon el talón en el tobillo. Juntamos las manos en oración. Alargamos el coxis hacia abajo para tener más estabilidad en la pose. Centramos su atención en la tranquilidad de la postura. Inhala y exhala. Enfócate en una punta de drishti. Inhalamos, bajamos la pierna y doblamos la pierna izquierda. Flexiona la rodilla, sí, y pon el talón en la entrepierna izquierda. Colocamos manamos las palmas en oración. Encuentra tu equilibrio. Inhalamos paz. Exhalamos. Relajamos los hombros. Inhala una vez más. Encuentra tu drishti. Y exhalamos, bajamos la pierna en Tadasana. Damos un paso hacia atrás con la pierna derecha en Guerrero 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Abrimos nuestras caderas. Estiramos los brazos. Relajamos los hombros y los brazos a la altura de los hombros. Miramos en la punta de los dedos de la mano derecha. La rodilla está encima del talón. Apoyamos el borde posture del pie en la colchoneta, de la pie izquierda. Inhalamos fuerza, alarga la columna. Y exhalamos. Enviamos la energía enérgica hacia adelante, como una guerrero. Estiramos nuestra rodilla derecha. So length, yep. Y flexionamos nuestra rodilla izquierda a guerrero 2. So cambia de posición. So solamente estira. So si estamos aquí, estiramos la pierna derecha y bajamos la pierna izquierda. ¿Ok? Inhalamos y miramos hacia la izquierda de los brazos y la altura de los hombros. Inhala y exhala. Inhalamos, nos concentramos en la postura. Exhalamos, damos un paso hacia adelante a Tadasana. Utthita Parsvakonasana, ángulo lateral extendida. Llevamos la pierna derecha hacia atrás. Apoyamos el talón hacia atrás y hacia el suelo, como el guerrero 2. Estamos en esa misma posición de nuevo, pero esta vez flexionamos la pierna izquierda y apoyamos el antebrazo entre la pierna, pero sin colapsar el brazo. So, sube las costillas hacia arriba. Estiramos el brazo derecho sobre la cabeza y abrimos el pecho. Inhalamos y miramos la mano. Exhalamos, nos enfocamos en los dedos. Y esta vez observamos cómo se siente la postura, la postura lateral. Inhalamos a guerrero 2. Esta vez vamos a cambiar al lado derecho, ¿ok? Flexionamos la rodilla derecha. Apoyamos el antebrazo sobre la pierna derecha y estiramos el brazo izquierdo sobre la cabeza. Inhalamos, rotamos nuestra costilla hacia arriba del cielo. Exhalamos y observamos la sensación de la postura lateral del lado izquierdo. Inhalamos a guerrero 2, alarga la columna. Exhalamos, damos un paso hacia adelante en Tadasana. Vinyasa. Inhalamos y subimos los brazos sobre la cabeza. Urdhva Hastasana. Exhalamos y doblamos hacia adelante. Uttanasana. Inhalamos, enderezamos la columna y miramos hacia adelante en Ardha Uttanasana. Exhalamos, planteamos las manos en la tierra, damos un paso hacia atrás a la plancha, miramos hacia adelante, bajamos y activamos el abdomen, Chaturanga Dandasana, sobre la tierra. Inhalamos, abrimos los brazos o subimos el pecho hacia arriba y rotamos los hombros hacia atrás. So, mira hacia arriba. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, perro que mira para arriba. Exhalamos a Adho Mukha Svanasana. Subimos la cadera hacia arriba y hacia atrás y enraizamos los talones hacia la colchoneta. Alargamos la espalda. Inhalamos profundamente y exhalamos profundamente. Inhalamos, miramos entre las manos. Damos un paso adelante a Ardha Uttanasana. Alargamos la columna. Exhalamos, doblamos Uttanasana. Relaja la coronilla y el cuello. Inhalamos, subimos vértebra por vértebra, subimos los brazos hacia arriba, alarga la columna a Urdhva Hastasana, miramos a los dedos. Exhalamos, Tadasana. Las manos para abajo. Okay, that was it.
Excelente, Joana. Muy buen trabajo.
Thank you.
Perfecto. Entonces, vamos a seguir con...
Okay, great job, everyone. Okay, well, I'm out of breath from my flow. I gotta get ready. Okay. Sentamos en una postura cómoda en la colchoneta. Extendemos las piernas hacia adelante. Alargamos la columna. Inhalamos, subimos los brazos hacia el cielo. Y exhalamos, colocamos las manos atrás de las isquiones, manos en copa en la colchoneta. Abrimos el corazón y mantenemos por 3 respiraciones. Conectamos con la respiración y sentimos la energía en las piernas. Activamos el abdomen y continuamos a abrir el pecho. Inhalamos, elevamos los brazos hacia arriba, alargamos la columna, relajamos los hombros y exhalamos, nos doblamos hacia los pies. Estiramos la espalda hasta la columna recta, entonces descansamos la cabeza y el cuello. Colocamos las manos en las espinillas o los pies. Sostenemos por 3 respiraciones. Muy bien. Separamos los isquiones y encontramos la respiración Ujjayi. Llevamos la atención adentro y permite que el corazón derrita hacia la tierra. Una respiración más. Y inhalamos, levantamos el pecho y traemos los brazos hacia arriba y hacia atrás. Colocamos las manos en la colchoneta, atrás de las isquiones, con las muñecas mirando hacia adelante. Con los dedos de manos, sí, mirando hacia adelante. Facing forward, that's what I'm trying to say. Okay. Entonces, vamos a empujar las manos en la colchoneta y abrimos el pecho. Y con brazos fuertes, activamos los glúteos y elevamos las caderas hacia el cielo. Quedamos las piernas rectas en la postura, la plancha contraria. I don't know if that's right, but reverse plank. Muy bien. Miramos hacia adelante, activamos el abdomen y mandamos fuerza a sus glúteos. Y con despacio bajamos las caderas a la colchoneta. Muy bien. Relajamos el cuerpo y encontramos la respiración normal. Inhalamos, traemos el pie derecho en la colchoneta al lado del muslo izquierdo. Perfecto. El pie derecho en la colchoneta al lado del muslo izquierdo. Perfecto. Y inhalamos, alargamos la columna Subimos los brazos y colocamos la mano derecha atrás de la espalda y traemos el codo izquierdo a la rodilla derecha. Vamos a girar a la derecha. Muy bien. Mantenemos por 3 respiraciones. Alargamos la columna y conectamos con la energía en el abdomen. Inhalamos y volvemos al centro y vamos a hacer en el otro lado. Relajamos las piernas y traemos el pie a la derecha, al lado del muslo izquierdo. Elevamos los brazos hacia el cielo y traemos la mano izquierda atrás en la colchoneta y el brazo derecha a la rodilla izquierda. Giramos a la izquierda y inhalamos y exhalamos profundo. Alargamos la columna, abrimos el pecho y nos concentramos en la respiración. Una vez más. Y volvemos lentamente en la postura cómoda con las piernas en la colchoneta. El fin.
Excelente, muchísimas gracias, Catherine. Perfecto. Entonces, terminamos la práctica de hoy con Juliana. Juliana, adelante.
Okay. You are unmuted. Okay. Inhalamos en pero boca abajo. O vamos a empezar en pero boca abajo. Okay. Inhalamos por la nariz y exhalamos por la boca. Inhalamos, extendemos la pierna derecha hacia el cielo. Exhalamos, traemos la rodilla derecha hacia la muñeca derecha. Baja tu pierna izquierda en media paloma. We're coming into half pigeon. I'll repeat it. Traemos la rodilla derecha hacia la muñeca derecha y baja tu pierna izquierda en media paloma. Inhalamos, traemos las manos cerca de nuestras caderas y exhalamos, extendemos y doblamos adelante. Inhalamos, llena la panza con aire y exhalamos, traemos la panza hacia adentro. Inhalamos, relaja los hombros. Exhalamos, relaja tus ojos. Inhalamos profundamente y exhalamos profundamente. Inhalamos, despierta las manos, levantamos la pierna izquierda y exhalamos hacia pero boca abajo. Repetimos con el otro lado. Inhalamos, extendemos la pierna izquierda hacia el cielo. Exhalamos, traemos la rodilla izquierda hacia la muñeca izquierda. Baja la pierna derecha en media paloma. Inhalamos, traemos las manos cerca de nuestras caderas y exhalamos, extendemos y doblamos adelante. Nos quedamos aquí por 3 respiraciones. So, inhalamos profundamente por la nariz y exhalamos profundamente por la nariz. Inhalamos y exhalamos. Inhala y exhala. Ok, vamos a inhalar y exhalamos. I'm sorry, y'all. Like, what am I reading? Okay. Sorry, y'all. Ok, despertamos las manos y caminamos las manos para las caderas. Inhalamos, nos acostamos hacia la... Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, y'all. Inhalamos, traemos la pierna derecha por el frente. Extendemos el pierna derecho y vamos a poner el pie derecha afuera del muslo izquierda. Puedes sacar tus glúteos aquí. Inhalamos los brazos hacia arriba y exhalamos, traemos el brazo derecha hacia la tierra y extendemos el brazo izquierda adelante. Inhalamos aquí y exhalamos. Inhalamos, miras para atrás, extiendes tu columna y exhalamos por el centro. Regresamos por el centro y vamos a hacer el otro lado. So, extendemos las piernas y vamos a doblar la rodilla izquierda y traer el pie izquierda afuera de la rodilla derecha. Inhalamos, extendemos los brazos arriba. Exhalamos, traemos la mano hacia la tierra para atrás y extendemos el brazo derecho al frente. Inhalamos, extendemos y exhalamos, nos quedamos aquí. Inhala, miras para atrás, exhala, te quedas aquí. Nos quedamos aquí por 3 respiraciones más. Inhalamos profundamente y exhalamos profundamente. Ok, exhalamos para el centro. Extendemos las piernas hacia el frente y poco a poco vamos a bajarnos hacia el colchoneta. Inhalamos, juntamos las plantas de tus pies y cerramos las rodillas en Supta Buddha Konasana. Cierra los ojos aquí y vamos a traer una mano sobre el corazón y la otra sobre el estómago. Si se siente bien aquí, puedes cerrar los ojos, but I already cued that. Inhala, siente como el aire entra en tu cuerpo y exhala, siente como el aire sale de tu cuerpo. Inhala profundamente por la nariz, exhala profundamente por la boca. Inhala, abre los ojos. Usa tus manos a juntar las rodillas. Inhala, traemos la barbilla hacia las rodillas en un abrazo. Exhalamos, soltamos los abrazos y extendemos las piernas en Shavasana. Inhalamos, cierra los ojos. Y exhalamos, rejalamos todo el cuerpo. Inhalamos amor. Exhalamos amor. Inhalamos, cierra la boca, relaja la cara, relaja tu mente. Inhalamos aquí y exhalamos. Inhalamos, vamos a empezar a despertar el cuerpo. Suavemente empezamos a despertar los deditos de los pies. Y entonces los deditos de las manos. Inhalamos, despiertan los pies, los brazos. Inhalamos, juntamos los pies y los brazos y extendemos todo el cuerpo. Exhalamos, traemos las rodillas hacia el centro. Dejamos que las rodillas caigan en un lado, en posición fetal. Inhalamos y exhalamos. Deja tus ojos cerrados aquí. Vamos a subir a una posición de pierna cruzada. Inhalamos, traemos los brazos hacia el cielo. Exhalamos, juntamos las palmas enfrente de nuestro corazón. Otra vez, cierra los ojos. Inhalamos y exhalamos. Vamos a cantar un Om y seguimos con 3 Shantis. So, primero, limpiamos la respiración. Inhala y exhala. El próximo respiración vamos a empezar. So, inhalamos. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Deja los ojos cerrados aquí Inhalamos, traemos las palmas hacia el frente. Y exhalamos, namaste.
Namaste, everyone.
I think I was editing before I got on and I erased some of my flow on accident. So I was kind of like freaking out inside and just trying to pull it together. Sorry, y'all.
You did a great job. I would have never known that.
It was fine. You did great.
Thanks, Diane.
Yeah, it was good.
Everybody did just a beautiful job.
Yourself included, Diane. So
Well,
I wanted to say, first of all, just consider for a moment where you were just over a week and a half ago, the level of language that you had, the confidence that you would have had if I said to you, okay, go ahead and lead, 10 or 15 minutes of the yoga class in Spanish. And consider where you are now. And think about the progress that you've made over the last week and a half, basically. I think it's really remarkable. Considering that on the first day, some of us, only knew a few different body parts, and now you're guiding all of these complex instructions, introspection, meditation, even things like pranayama. So I think you should recognize the hard work that you've put in, all of the time and the effort that you've spent in doing this. So I really think that you're to be applauded, each of you, for doing that. So well done. So I'm going to give you all a little bit of personalized feedback now. So Claire, well done for your meditation. I particularly enjoyed your clear tone of voice and your excellent pronunciation. I think those things were really, really good. My advice for you with meditation in any language is that meditation, a lot of what we transmit in meditation, we transmit through our tone of voice and through the pacing of the meditation as well. So whether you're guiding this in Spanish or in English, it's really, really recommended to go slower. And that's not just speaking slower, it's how you actually set the meditation up. So give people a moment to sit down, to get comfortable, to find length and space, to relax, to close their eyes, to take a few deep breaths. And you can take at least like 2 or 3 minutes to just let people kind of settle in, right? And then once people are settled in, you can start using these phrases like inhalamos paz, exhalamos amor, right? And this is something for absolutely everyone. When it comes to guiding the speed of breath, you need to think about how people are actually breathing, right? Because if I say to everybody, okay, inhalamos y exhalamos, we don't breathe like that, yeah? You need to think about inhalamos y exhalamos, yeah? And actually give people time to breathe properly. Otherwise, people will accelerate their breathing, which is not what you want in a meditation. Great. So, the other thing that I was not sure exactly how it worked was the idea of inhaling plus an animal name. So I think the phrases that you used were, for example, inhalamos pavo real, which sounds kind of really odd in any language, like inhale peacock. And I think you probably want to just put a few extra words there. You might want to say something like inhalamos e imaginamos un pavo real, like inhale and imagine your peacock. Does that make sense? Yeah. Good. Okay. And then you can start fleshing it out. So inhalamos, imaginamos un pavo real. Imagina los colores, como brillan. Imagina el arco iris de la cola. Imagina cómo se ven. Y ahora conéctate con la sensación de orgullo que tienes como un pavo real. Does that make sense? So you're really kind of fleshing out the image that you're using there a little bit more. Okay. And then when you have silence in your meditation, that's good. But make sure that you find some way of closing the meditation off in a nice way. Empezamos a mover los deditos de las manos y los pies. Toma un par de respiraciones profundas y lentas. Y abre lentamente tus ojos. Cuando estés lista, puedes ir sobre 4 puntos de apoyo y empezamos a movernos. And that way you're providing this nice little transition between the seated meditation and when you start to move. Does that make sense? Yeah, but all in all, very, very nice. Well done. Okay, Vicky, I thought that you had a beautiful tone of voice, very clear pronunciation. It was so easy to follow what you were saying in Spanish. I loved that you spoke slowly and carefully, and I think that really, really helps with the communication. So I think you did a really, really excellent job there. And good cues for cat and cow as well. Right. So a couple of things to think about. So you said when we were on all fours, elevamos el brazo adelante. Elevamos is perhaps not the verb that I would have chosen there. There is where I would have chosen estiramos, stretch the arm in front. Because I think that elevamos, I might even have kind of gone into a twist at that point if I'd been told to do that. So elevar is maybe what you would use for a twist, and estiramos. And I would say estiramos el brazo hacia adelante. Stretch it forwards. Okay. So, sostenemos needs an object, yeah? So you can't just use the word sostenemos aquí, yeah? You can say sostenemos la postura, or you can say sostenemos nuestro pecho en esta posición, but you need some kind of object there. La respiración actually has that ending there. It's not una respira, it's una respiración, okay? Okay. Now, elevamos el torso hacia la derecha, not hacia el derecho. Okay?
Can you say that one more time?
Yeah.
Just to make sure I have it.
Elevamos el brazo hacia la derecha. Yeah? So towards the right, not hacia el derecho. Yeah?
Okay.
And there's something important that you should all know, that the word reach in English cannot be translated into Spanish, okay?
Of course.
What's the problem? Alcanzar is a verb that exists in Spanish, but alcanzar means to reach and actually touch something, okay? So, for example, I might say, if I've got like my foot stretched out, alcanzamos el tobillo con la mano. Yeah, reach and actually touch. Or alcánzame la salsa. Like reach the sauce for me, yeah? But you can't start to say alcanzar, meaning to kind of stretch something in a particular direction. Does that make sense?
It does, yeah.
So when you were bringing your hand underneath, you might use a verb like pasar. Pasamos la mano derecha debajo del hombro izquierdo, yeah?
Okay.
Pass. That will probably work a little bit better.
Gracias.
Now, what would you say is the problem with the following phrases? La mano derecho, el brazo izquierda, el hombro izquierda. What's the problem with those three things?
They don't agree for feminine and
yes.
masculine.
So a big part of the work for you is making sure that your adjectives agree with the nouns that they're attached to. Good. But otherwise, really, really nice. Super easy to follow. Everybody was following along with you. So well done.
Thank you.
Diane, are you there? No, Diane's disappeared. I'll come back to Diane a little bit later on. Okay, Joanna. Yeah, congratulations. Oh, Diane's back.
I'm so sorry. My son called and things could be getting worse. But anyway, I want to hear my feedback. I apologize. I'm so sorry.
So, so Diane, I think first of all, well done for teaching. You haven't taught a lot of yoga before, so you've dived into doing something very challenging, which is trying to do something in a second language that you don't necessarily even have in your first language yet. So self-confidence is something that all teachers have to work with, right? And even teachers who've been, I've been teaching for what, 6-7 years now. And even I have moments where I kind of lose my flow, right? And it happens all the time. And what you've got to do is just take a deep breath, reset your mind, and move on, yeah? I would never apologize to my students, really, at any point in the class. I might make a joke with them, yeah? So if I get lost and I'm kind of, and it happens, Andrea, how many thousands of hours of training has Andrea done? How many thousands upon thousands of hours has Andrea taught? And she still gets her lefts and rights tied up in knots sometimes in class. It happens. And it's fine, What do? We have a laugh about it because it happens. And if we can do that, our students will have a laugh with us, and we'll say, oh, this is just not working out for me today. And it's okay. We all have good days. We all have bad days. And for you as well, you're a confident Spanish speaker. And I think for you, it might actually be easier just to put the notes away and say, you know what, I've done my preparation and what's important is now in my head, yeah? And freestyle it a little bit. If necessary, do the practice with your students. Trust me, it's a lot easier when you're not doing it on Zoom. Teaching in person is considerably easier, I think. And you're going to find that the whole thing will just flow a lot more easily. But if you find that it doesn't flow, that's fine. Simplify. Think about just the next cue. Okay, inhale, step forwards, straighten the spine, exhale forward. Inhale, roll up to standing, stretch the hands, exhale, palms to chest. Simplify it, yeah? And you'll be fine, honestly.
I really wanted to practice this more today, but with everything that's going on, I didn't have any time between ending my teaching, my job I had very little time because people kept calling and coming over. But yes, did I apologize? I did.
I don't remember, but the important thing is at the end of the day, just keep practicing, and you'll have plenty of opportunity to keep practicing over the coming months and years. So be kind on yourself as well. If it doesn't work out today, tomorrow it will.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're most welcome. Okay. So, Joanna, excellent work. Obviously, you have a great deal of confidence in your Spanish. It really shows. You have a great fluidity with the language. And you know what? I think for you as well, it actually worked really nicely when you were looking at the camera. You were kind of seeing what was going on with your students and observing them. And you're saying, actually here, let's do this and let's do that. And that actually, your personality came through a lot more nicely. The cues were kind of a lot more on point as well. So do that, allow your teaching to be inspired by kind of what's going on in front of you. And I think your personality really shines through at that point. I loved how you used introspection. I thought there was a real effort that you were making to help people to connect inside during their postures. So I think that came across really nicely. You've got a little bit of work to do with your reflexive verbs. There were especially the verb doblamos, Every time you use doblamos, you just use it on its own. Yeah, and it needs to have an object. So either nos doblamos hacia adelante, or doblamos el cuerpo, el torso, and the same alargamos as well. Alargamos la columna, or nos alargamos, but you need some object. Yeah. Okay. Just so you know, extended side angle is generally referred to as la postura diagonal.
La postura de qué?
Diagonal.
Okay.
Because it's like a diagonal, right? So it's la postura diagonal.
Diagonal. Okay.
Yeah, good. It sounds a little bit odd. Que a mano postura. Generally speaking, if you're describing a posture, you want to say la postura de, and then you can describe la postura de pie a mano, la postura de pie con mano, or something like that. Or just use the bit.
Okay.
No? Good. Excellent. Well done. Good work. Catherine, I really, really enjoyed, especially the tone, the rhythm, the cadence of your voice, the pronunciation. There was just this really nice sense of this sort of calm and kind of collected personality coming through your teaching today. So I thought that you're really to be commended on that. Well done.
Yes.
Good. Again, a little bit of work to do with reflexive verbs, as with most people. So, for example, sentamos en una postura needs to be nos sentamos en una postura. Yeah? Conectamos con la respiración. That happened a few times. Nos conectamos con la respiración. Yeah? When you use the verb continuar, you usually use it with a participle. So, continuamos respirando. Yeah? So, it's not continuamos a respirar. I think it's better continuamos o seguimos respirando. Good. How do we pronounce glúteos? Well, it needs an E in there. Glúteos. Yeah? Not glutos, but glúteos. Yeah?
Okay.
And remember, it's piernas, not piernos.
Okay.
Okay. I think the phrase that I've heard for reverse plank would be plancha al revés.
Oh.
Yeah, la
Can you say
plancha al revés. Now, you chose a very challenging posture, Ardha Matsyendrasana. Yeah, because we've got the right knee and the left foot outside the right knee and the left elbow outside the right knee and the right hand on the ground behind the right hip, and woof, it's exhausting. Even in English, it's a very complicated posture to cue. My recommendation would be to substitute for some of your lefts and rights words like opposite and contrary, and so opuesto and contrario. Yeah, mix those in a little bit so we don't get this kind of like fatigue from hearing left and right 10,000 times.
Yeah,
the other thing that I would recommend is when you're bringing people into that pose, it's helpful to use the verb cruzar. When you're bringing the foot across to the other side of the knee, yeah? Cruzamos el pie derecho sobre la pierna izquierda.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
And that way, because I think what you said is place the right foot beside the knee, but we don't know if it's the inside or the outside of the knee. Whereas if you first of all say cross the right foot over the leg, then it's really clear. Cruzamos el pie derecho sobre la pierna izquierda y lo colocamos al lado de la rodilla, for example. Yeah?
Perfect.
Great. Excellent.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please.
There was a point where I sort of gave up my notebook because I got a little bit lost of where I was, and I just started saying it out loud. And I wanted to know if you noticed a difference from like the beginning to the...
Not really. No,
Okay.
I didn't,
Else,
which is great.
it was more natural for me to not use my notebook because I could see you more, but I'm just curious if anyone felt a difference.
Well, congratulations. I mean, if you could do that so seamlessly that no one even noticed you weren't using your notes anymore, that's amazing. That's very,
What's
very
wrong?
good.
And I was like, forget it. I'm just gonna look.
Yeah, and it's the stage that you want to get to as well with your practice. I mean, all of you, once you get the confidence with, with your notes, put the notebook away and teach spontaneously as you would in English.
Okay.
Good. Excellent. Well done, Catherine. Juliana, excellent, excellent work. I really love your accent, and I really love your tone of voice as well. You're able to kind of transmit this sense of calm and peace through your Spanish. So I think that was really, really well done there. You had a little bit of an issue with your notes, but you recovered, you picked it up, you didn't allow yourself to get flustered at all. And that's really important. If you do kind of have those moments where you're like, wow, did I just delete all of my homework? And you were able just to kind of go on teaching. And so that was excellent. I think that, again, you're to be really, really commended for how you handled what could have been like quite a difficult situation there. Great. For you as well, again, you need to think a little bit more carefully about your reflexive verbs. So there was quite a lot of extendemos and doblamos adelante. You need to make those reflexive. Nos extendemos y nos doblamos hacia adelante. Yeah? There was a slightly odd phrase that you used, which was llenamos la panza con aire. I think if you do that, you're going to belch really, really loudly. Yeah? I know what you were trying to say, which was to swell the abdomen out as you breathe in. It's belly breaths, right? They're these sort of like deep diaphragmatic breaths. But we're not doing that by filling the belly with air. We're doing that by allowing the belly to swell out, because the diaphragm basically displaces the contents of the abdomen. So maybe finding a way to rephrase that would be helpful. So expandimos el abdomen con la inhalación. And that works just as well, right? Expand the abdomen with the in-breath, but you've not got this slightly odd image of filling your belly with air.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, when you're using the words right and left to describe parts of the body, they have to agree, yeah, with the part of the body. So you can't say el brazo derecha and el brazo izquierda. They have to agree. El brazo derecho, el brazo izquierdo. Yeah?
Okay. Yes.
Now, if you're going to use command forms, be a little bit careful about how the verbs change. So extender is not extending in the command form, it's extienden. Yeah? So be aware that some verbs change their stem. Yeah? So you need to be a little bit careful about that. And also, permite que las rodillas caigan, not caguen. Because cagar is
Sorry. Reading it, I was like frozen and nervous, and I just, yeah.
Okay, everyone would have a nice little chuckle at that point, though. Okay, good. Just one final thing. When people were hugging their knees to the chest, you said soltamos los abrazos. That sounds again a little odd. Like release the hugs.
I meant to say soltamos. I meant to say soltamos el brazo, but does that make sense?
To me, it's soltamos el abrazo. Maybe, it could work, I suppose.
Like the hug, but I don't know.
Yeah, soltamos el abrazo, soltamos la postura, soltamos las rodillas. I think that's probably better. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. But excellent. So congratulations, everybody. I think most of you know that this is just the very, very start of what is hopefully a long journey for all of you teaching in Spanish. You've got this wonderful skill, and it's now time to practice it, and it's time to actually use it in the ways that you've planned to use it. So by all means, with language, it's use it or lose it. So make sure that you keep up consistently with your practice, whether that's practicing as a group, whether that's teaching family members or friends, or teaching free classes, or finding some kind of community group that would like to do yoga with you. Make sure that you keep up with your practice. If you would like to join me next month, I think I sent you all an email about that today. I'm super, super happy to keep working with you all. Remember that there are some classes on Facebook as well, with the likes of Kelly and Andrea. A lot of those we won't be doing more Facebook Live classes in Spanish next month. They're passing to Zoom. So if you do want to continue practicing, you'll need the Zoom link for that. But of course, all of the old classes will stay on Facebook, so you can just hunt through the archives there. Yeah, so I don't know if anybody has anything they'd like to say, anything they'd like to add or offer, or yeah, I just open this up to everyone now.
I mean, thank you, Andrew. Congratulations on your not wedding that, whatever. Yeah.
Thank you. It was a really lovely day. We got sent flowers and chocolates, like people called us. We had a nice lunch, and yeah, we're gonna sort of have plan B for our actual wedding. Maybe Tanya and I will travel back to the UK at Christmas time, and we'll have like a small ceremony there, and then we'll have like our big international do this time next year here in Colombia with Colombian bands and goodness knows what else. Knowing Tanya's family, a good deal of aguardiente, which is the local hooch that they love to drink here. So we'll see how it goes. Colombian parties are always a lot of fun. But thank you.
I'm really grateful for this class, Andrew. I feel like this is the beginning of my teacher training, and I'm so happy that it was in Spanish, and I'm so happy that I got to work with all of you and hear all of you real yoga teachers teaching yoga in Spanish, and I'm just very delighted. And I really like your feedback style, Andrew, and you're making things simple, and your materials that you gave us and the activities. This was a ton of work, and I loved every bit of it. But I also appreciate how much work it was for you coordinating it with the video with Andrea, but super useful, just really, really important, and thank you.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. I think this is really well done. You did a great job structuring it and making us feel like we had a lot of I'm curious, two things. If one, we could potentially get the answers to the handouts just so we have them, because I wasn't sure that I was able to get all those answers written down. And then two, could you just explain how the June classes will work? Is it like you pop in whatever days work for you?
Yeah, so first of all, I'll be very happy to send you my master copy of those answers to you. I'll get that done tomorrow afternoon. If I forget, just send me a quick email to remind me. In terms of the June classes, so basically I think I gave you, let me just have a look at the notes that I made today. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so there's two options there. If you wanted to join in 4 language classes plus the asana practice of your choice, you just choose the 4 classes that you would like to participate in, and then you go ahead with that. If you have the 8 class pack, then you can come to all or any. Really, at this point, it's more of a just kind of going back and focusing more closely at things that we've sort of looked at already, but going into them in a little bit more depth, making sure that you have plenty of opportunity to practice, so you'll actually get more teaching practice. But yeah, again, it's maybe less of an issue if you miss a class with next month's practice, because it's not like we're kind of building on what we did the session before, if that makes sense. Great. Does anybody else have anything that they would like to say or add?
No, just
Oh.
go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh, I would just like to say thank you for this awesome class. I've learned so much already, and I think that you are such a great teacher. I really hope that I can join you next month. So thank you, Andrew.
My pleasure. Yeah, and it would be lovely to have any of you who do consider traveling to Colombia at some point, you know, to come and stay with us at the studio and actually teach some Colombians in Spanish as well. You know, the community here is super, super lovely. So, you know, if you do want to consider doing part of the internship program with us in the future to really work on your Spanish teaching in Spanish, then you're most welcome to do that as well.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, I was in Medellin in like a year ago, and I saw some yogis outside, so I went to go join them, and I asked them where they practice, and that's how I learned about your studio, and then that's how all this got started.
Oh, that's crazy, huh? That's cool.
Yeah, so cool.
I just want to say a quick thank you to all of the people, all the gals in the group. You were a great supportive group. I appreciate that. And thank you, Andrew, for putting this online and making it possible to do. And that I've been looking at it for quite a long time, and just the timing didn't seem to work. So it's been really such a pleasure, and I've learned a ton. So again, like Juliana, I hope to join in June. I have to look at my work schedule, but I'll certainly do what I can, and hopefully we can all stay in touch.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I'd love to connect with you guys on social media. I sent you guys an email. I don't know if you saw it. Then for those, I just want to say, those of you who are teachers, like I hope your studios open up. I hope you guys get to being with students.
I miss that. Yeah, I really, really miss being in front of my students. It's not the same teaching in front of the camera, but you know, there we go. We make do.
Yeah, I just wanted to say also thank you so much for making this online class possible. Yeah, just like Vicky, I have been looking at this course for over a year, and I've been wanting to do it, and I'm so grateful that you were able to do this online, and you're such an amazing teacher, and I've learned so much within this 2 weeks. It's insane. Like, you know, I came in a little hesitant, like freaking out, not confident at all with my Spanish, just because like with my grammar, I'm just not confident, and I don't practice it enough. But just doing the assignments, like I just feel like my skills just kind of it improved so much, and I felt so much more confident just teaching. And this was just such a great, wonderful group. And yeah, I'm looking forward to taking your class next week. So and continuing. Yeah.
And I think I've really felt as well just how much work people have put in. I mean, I know how much work it is to do these things, because, you know, I'm also doing trainings online at the moment, and just finding that time to sit down and do your homework. I mean, I'm a bad student sometimes, and so when all of my students kind of come up with all of their homework done, I'm like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to deal with students like myself sometimes. But well done. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to continuing with you all next month. So take a weekend off, you know, rest, have a great night's sleep, and yeah, I look forward to seeing you all soon.
Yeah, muchísimas gracias.
For those of you, by the way, who need or who have Yoga Alliance profiles, if you could write me, just to let me know which email address you've got registered with the Yoga Alliance, so I can put that under your continuing education hours. Yeah. What else to say? Oh, I'll be sending you all a certificate, because who doesn't love another certificate, which you can then print out and put on your walls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about now. It's about the
Or it didn't happen. Just kidding.
Indeed. All right. Well, thank you so much, everybody. Have a lovely evening, and I'll see you all again soon.
Sure. Thanks so much. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Namaste.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Great job. Bye.
Andrew, I got your email. I'll send you over that tax form.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
I'm just having issues with my printer right now, but I'll send it in the morning. And then also, is it possible to just do 3 weeks of the program? Because I just have a call the last week.
Yeah, no problem. I'll send you an updated price for that.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, Joanna.
Good night. Bye.
Thanks.